You'll probably remember me mentioning and pointing out this book previously. It's a book by, well, compiled from works of Hugh Nibley. But this talks about the message of the Joseph Smith Papyri, otherwise known as the breathing text or the snsn text. There was something I pointed out in here. This is a copy of the actual snsn text, the actual papyrus, or some of the papyrus that's been recovered. It has the portions in here that have been kind of sketched in with background paper. In a previous YouTube video, they've pointed out that some other people's extrapolations as to what they thought should go into these areas versus what Joseph Smith said in these fragments that were missing. Now, there's something kind of interesting too I found in another book. And here's this other book. This is Studies in the Book of Abraham, but it is called Traditions About the Early Life of Abraham. Basically what this book is it's a compilation of a bunch of ancient texts that talk about Abraham. It has everything from references to ancient Jewish writings, just all sorts of ancient texts. If they reference at all Abraham and his story, it has excerpts from the Quran, early Christian and early Jewish writings. There's this photo in here that I found interesting. It's a photo of some other papyrus. Now, this papyrus itself has no connections to Joseph Smith. It wasn't part of the papyrus at all. It's stuff that's been found, I believe, in Egypt. Down here it says it's papyrus laden. And here it explains kind of what's contained in here. It says a lion couch scene with the name Abraham directly beneath it. Now, how about that? A lion couch scene with the name Abraham directly beneath it. How about that? Now, I realize it does have that head of Anubis. But the funny thing is it doesn't have any of the items that were extrapolated by the Egyptologist critic as far as what would be within those missing fragments. Rather, it's simply a image of a mummification thing, but it is kind of telling that here, a lion couch scene with the name Abraham directly beneath it, and this isn't all. It says the instructions in the text say to write these words together with this picture, indicating that the Egyptians thought the two were associated. Now, why would the Egyptians think that the word Abraham and a scene such as this would be related? And why, what kind of coincidence is it that Joseph Smith thought the same thing when he saw this? Now, for the sake of full disclosure, I'm just going to show the parts here that are connected to that image of the papyrus that I showed. These are the excerpts from that very item. This talks about it a bit. And these items, it is clearly a funerary text, as the snsn text does. You should bring the sealed something of copper, this lion, this mummy, this Anubis, while they seek black scarab. And here's a kind of another facsimile of the image. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Abraham, who is upon Abraham. That's the text that was beneath it. Abraham, who is upon, and then I think find them also. Anyway, so they can say that I'm giving full disclosure on what there is here. But it's also interesting that it mentions incinerate her, because if you'll study, as this study at all in Abrahamic traditions, whether they be Jewish, Muslim, or early Christian, there's constant reference to Abraham by Nimrod, or an equivalent, being thrown, actually in some instances catapulted into a fiery furnace. And There's also parts where Abraham predicts some of his offspring later will also in like form be tested, but I would highly recommend this book. It's pretty fascinating to see what all the different people through the ages have said concerning Abraham. And you'll also get these images on the back. So I hope you've enjoyed that. There's Abraham in that fiery furnace.